I just realized the tag that Natalia put on my...
we did it. Okay, so I have the ability to change people's like taglines underneath their names, and every time Sky will like leave before we do one of these, I'll change it, and like sometimes she doesn't notice. So I got her today, everyone.
Har har.
And I was like, even when you were gone, it was just Jessie and I was like, oh, I almost forgot. And Jessie's like, what did you almost forgot? I'm like, 1 second. And then Jessie's like, I just saw it just click over suddenly.
It's like in the corner of my eye. It's all like taped. I'm like, I get it.
Yes, the shenanigans continue. Hello.
Hello. Is anybody there? Hello.
Maybe we'll get mostly people on the replay. I know that Saturday afternoons sometimes people be doing stuff with their family. Is that what their families?
Their people?
Yes.
Your people? People. That's okay. So today we're going to talk about J-dramas. And, you know, in a sort of way, there's some things we can say about J-dramas. Because I know Jessie and I think Sky's a newer convert to the J-drama life, but big J-drama fans. But with J-dramas, there's a real wild spectrum of content you can expect to see.
Very much so.
And so we wanted to do this is like a 2-part live stream happening today. So part 1, we're going to sort of talk about J-dramas that we really like and that we think if you've never seen a J-drama, here's some options of ones you could try out. That'll maybe like get you into the vibe, because J-dramas have a vibe. They do. And then the second half of the live stream, we've got a special one for y'all.
It's gonna get crazy.
It's gonna get wild. We're gonna talk about unhinged J-dramas, and we've made an incredible an axis chart to plot axis some of our favorite favorite in air quotes couples and how they fall. Okay, I just need to point out that these two as my witnesses. I need to get curtains, and I don't have any. But my husband came in and hung up something that was perfect up until 2
basically
seconds
when we
ago.
started. Yeah.
Classic.
So you're just glowing like an angel.
Exactly, I'm angelic. Because that's what that's what the people say about me. They think Natalia,
she's
one
an
of
angel.
God's special little angels is what they say. No need to laugh. That's definitely what they say.
Okay, I wasn't supposed to laugh that hard.
Yeah, that's definitely what they say.
Yeah.
So,
exactly what they say.
Exactly. So I think before we sort of get into what J-dramas we all like, I really think we briefly have to talk about the J-drama that united all 3 of us, because there is one J-drama that united all 3 of us, and that is the infamous Coffee and Vanilla, which was the basis for this entire chart.
Really?
Yeah, no, I couldn't remember. I knew it was a while back, probably, whatever it was.
See, she makes it sound like it brought us together, but we like had known and been on this podcast for like at least.
No. What I mean is,
well, on this topic,
yes, so yeah,
spiritually united us, because I believe we all watched it like as it was airing, or like
I remember very clearly. I was the one who was like, "You need to watch it."
Yeah,
like,
like,
I was
we
on my own
watching
it while it was airing, and I was like, "I need other people to watch this drama with me, please."
And it's like I had seen other J-dramas before. I think Sky had probably seen a couple J-dramas before this.
I wonder. I've been trying to sit here to. I don't know that. I don't. If Coffee and Vanilla was my first J-drama,
wild.
Did you watch?
No, we watched
Coffee
Absolute
and Vanilla?
Boyfriend, didn't we?
Oh yeah, Absolute Boyfriend was definitely before that, because we did that episode with the K-drama version.
Definitely did that.
Yeah.
I'll have to go look. I'm gonna go stare for a second. Like,
yeah. And so I started watching Coffee and Vanilla because I have a strong love of Dory, who is the main male.
No. The first one. I think the first one might be Vampire Heaven.
Oh.
Vampire Heaven.
Because you know how that was like our first or second podcast episode?
Yeah, that was way back.
Yeah.
Way back.
So I think that was
okay
for me. For me, Vampire Heaven was my first J-drama.
What a first one! What a first J! Like that's
people. If you are curious about that, we have a podcast episode where we talk about it way back in the day.
You can find it legally now, but it was on like Viki or something back then.
At the time, yeah. I think
Sorry for interrupting. I think that was my first one.
I think it was on Prime in Canada. But anyway, but we all watched Coffee and Vanilla at the same time, and I remember it's like after every episode, we'd be like, "What the fuck did we just watch?" in both a good and bad way. Like we were.
Hello, Lucy.
Lucy, welcome. We're just chatting about how Coffee and Vanilla
brought us together in a way that we never expected.
And then we all became, and it's sort of what I love about it is that Coffee and Vanilla became the litmus test for the insanity of a drama. Because, like, I swear to God, every time one of us starts another drama, like another J drama, that's you know what, Lucy, just for you, I was telling her about the visor the other day.
Yeah, you need those like pajama visors.
Yeah, what are those?
Okay, just
maybe we should like make
you.
those as like a podcast, like, you know, thing.
Giveaway type thing
like
or something.
Yes, what a great giveaway.
Like a decal on it.
Best of giveaway.
So for anyone watching this in the future, this is what I do with the sun shining in my eyes, because I have no, as Lucy and I always say, no shame, no taste.
Hello.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
Hello.
Sky, I'm leaving the comments to you.
You were talking a lot. I was just trying to help.
I'm not on it. I'm not touching it.
Sky, you're on comments today.
I was just trying to help.
I'm not going to touch him anymore. So yeah, I use this paper visor because I need to get curves. Anyway, so
Coffee and Vanilla.
ever since we all watch Coffee and Vanilla at the same time, every time we watch a drama, it inevitably gets compared to Coffee and Vanilla.
Yeah.
Well,
especially in that like
whenever we can tell it's
way.
Yeah, we can tell it's like in that. You can tell from a description typically. Like the question then becomes, in the Coffee and Vanilla universe, where does it hit?
You still have that like kind of weirdness in J dramas where it's like off the wall characters or like weird and like supernatural weird, and that's like not part of it. It's kind of more of like, what is this actual relationship that like is two humans related to each other? Where is it going to like go? Is it going to go Coffee and Vanilla, or is it just going to be a nice cute little story?
And see what happens is we then watched Ni Sensei, Don't You Know, which then became like the antithesis of Coffee and Vanilla. So it was like, is it more on the Coffee and Vanilla side, or is it more on the Ni Sensei side?
And we've definitely done a podcast episode on that as well, because we all, and Amanda was on that podcast episode with us too. So like that was a fun podcast episode we did.
It was because it was such a cute little drama.
But today we don't want to talk about Coffee and Vanilla until the second half of this podcast.
Later.
We bring out the coffee. I made an actual Coffee and Vanilla chart. And we will be
the Coffee and Vanilla universe.
I actually made a Coffee and Vanilla drink.
I also wish to clarify, just we are not saying, because we kind of mentioned a little, but we're not saying that every J drama falls into this spectrum.
No,
we're just really talking about a specific subset, and we'll get into it. But like, it's usually romance type. It might be kind of sexy depending, and there might be some danger.
Yeah, there's some
aspects
subjects that like are introduced in those first like 2 episodes where you're like, should I be worried for everyone involved, and do we need to contact authorities? Like, what are we doing?
And that's how it's very unique compared to say K-dramas or something. Like, that's not to say that K-dramas don't have their serial killers, because they do. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about within the specific main character relationship in these pretty simple dramas. They're the shorter ones usually. So that's what we're talking about. Like, we're not saying that all J-dramas fall into this.
No, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not.
But that'll be the second half. I just googled Coffee and Vanilla.
It's very short. And you don't
listen,
have to do what we did, where it was like 20-minute episodes and we watched it like while it was airing. So once a week.
Yeah, you can just watch it all and just be like, what the fuck did I just watch?
It's on Viki. Yeah.
But don't worry, we will have all sorts of recommendations in the second half of other equally unhinged dramas, and maybe some that are even more so.
Now, I will say, age limit on that. So, and I'm not even, some of them I guess are kind of scandalous, but what I mean by that is don't let like young impressionable teenagers make like, you know, they see a character and they like really grab onto it. Or no. These are dramas to keep away from the kiddos because.
So before we get into that, we named this J-drama starter pack for people who have never seen a J-drama and want to know what J-drama should I start with, because we don't want you to start with Coffee and Vanilla, okay?
Yeah, we want you to know about the like greatness of J-dramas.
Yeah, listen. The Coffee and Vanilla is a trial by fire. You gotta ease into that. You gotta already like the vibes before you. It's like how so many of us started K-dramas with, you know,
like Boys Over Flowers or something.
Like, and then it's like, and then you're thinking back and you're like, what? How? It's amazing that I kept watching them.
Yeah, we
don't want that for you. We want good stuff for you. So, who wants to start with their first pick? Jessie, what is a show? Sky, go.
No, all I was gonna say is, as I was staring at my list, I did figure out my very first J-drama I watched. It was a live action of a anime that I liked. So that's
okay.
Library Awards. So like, and I'll talk about that later. But I figured out it was before we started the podcast.
So Jessie, what is the first drama that you would suggest to people, and why?
Okay, so my first drama is this drama called The Reason I Can't Find My Love. It's from 2011. I watched it when it was on like Drama Fever, and then it has since like been dormant for a while. Nobody had it, and finally Asian Crush picked it up, and I also saw that Tubi has it as well. And Asian Crush literally has Drama Fever subtitles on it because it says like, you know, Drama Fever in the like credits of the subtitles, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. But it's a really good show about a group of women who, yes, R.I.P. Drama Fever. But essentially it's a group of friends, or not, they're actually not friends at the very beginning. They're just kind of like random people who come together because they need to live in, you know, a place, and they come to live at this one place because one of the girls' aunt owns a place or something like that. And so she has this big house that she can rent out to people, and she rents it out to these girls, and it focuses on the like relationship between them and then their respective like love relationships. And that's a very common kind of like genre in J-dramas a lot, where you have like, it's like the main girl friend group where you have a lot of time spent with them together, and then like you see them offshoot to their like relationships. But I personally love it just because I loved the relationships between the characters, because they're all very different. They all have kind of different thoughts on relationships and love and things that they're doing. And like, it focuses a lot on their growth, not only in relationships, just their growth in themselves. And so it has this like really nice, these like nice moments where you're seeing these women like kind of like uplifting each other, and just also like learning how to be humans in this world and interactions. And I loved every second of it. I remember like I had to like stop myself from binging it all because it was so good to me that I didn't want to binge it because I wanted to savor it, but it was so hard to like not sit there and watch all of it at once. But I really think it's like a really great, like just kind of like solid, low, like effort type drama where you've got a little bit of like the romance involved, but you also have the girl friendships.
Nice. So the first one I want to mention, a little addendum to this, is that it is based on my favorite manga series of all time. So know that it's based on a manga series before you start, okay? Because sometimes the ones that are based on manga series can go a little hog wild sometimes.
I will say that also you should know that like almost every drama is going to be based on
a lot of like a majority are. But this one's based on a sort of a goofy-ish one, and it's called Kuragehime or Princess Jellyfish, and I noticed they just added it to Viki recently. And it centers around this boarding house that only women live in, but all of these women are unemployed otakus. But they are all otakus of different things. So an otaku is someone who's like a super fan. So the main character is a girl who's obsessed with jellyfish. And they don't like go out, they don't meet people, they only have each other. And she's walking by this pet store, and she sees there's a jellyfish in distress because they put the wrong type of other jellyfish within the tank and it's going to die. And she's like, oh my god, this jellyfish is going to die. So she runs into the shop to try to like tell them, but she can't because she can't speak to this guy who runs at the shop. And he thinks she's weird, kicks her out, where she meets this beautiful woman who takes her side and buys the jellyfish for her. So this beautiful woman walks her home and she's like, wow, this woman is so glamorous. This woman is she's one of the fancy people. She's not like me. Like, why is she even talking to me? Long story short, it's not a woman. It's a politician's son who loves cross-dressing, who then becomes enamored with these women living at this house and decides he's going to be part of them, even though they don't allow men in the house. So he has to continue to pretend to be a woman, and fighting against redevelopment by becoming fashion designers, even though none of them know anything about fashion except for him. And it is so cute. Yeah, it's a real classic caper, right? There is a slight warning for the live action version, in that there is an Indian character, but clearly they did not bother to hire an Indian actress to play her. So it is just clearly a Japanese woman in a sari with thick eyeliner. And so you're just like, I'm sure there was an Indian actress living in Japan, but
sure, you could have gotten someone.
She's not a very big character, so it's sort of like you can just be like, because a lot of times in J dramas, there's a lot of that yeah, I gotta just look past this right now. But other than that, it's just such a solid, cute drama about awkward people being awkward but trying to protect the things that they love. And it's goofy and it's fun. And you can watch it on Viki.
So I will say for me, we'll talk about this more later too, so I won't get into it too far, but Rinko-San wants to try. It's squarely within I'm not bringing it up because that it is one of the favorite ones I've seen, and it's a very simple drama, and it's essentially workplace romance, but kind of not. Barely. The work is involved. Essentially, there's a 27-year-old, the female main character, and she's a wedding planner and very, very successful, and she's still a virgin, and she decides that that's something that she wants to change, and just has she wants to figure out how to do that. And so the main character is a nice dude who wants to help. So there you go. There's not much else to say about it. It's sweet, but it's also, it feels realistic. It doesn't feel like there's no really fantasy elements to it. I think it's nice. It's squarely in the coffee and vanilla universe thing, and he has no threatening vibes. We will talk about that later.
Oh, don't worry.
He has no
Wait
threatening
for part
vibes.
2 of this drama coming up.
But it's super, super bingeable. Like, I recommend just watching it as a movie. Essentially, it's much easier, that type of a show. But it was really sweet. Like, and though it was spicy, it wasn't like...
It wasn't
super
erotic.
scandalous.
No.
Right.
You ain't seeing ass and titty all over.
Yeah, this is like
okay.
PG-13, but they do bring it up. Like, it's not like a hush topic.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I can't... It's been over a year or so since I watched it, but like, there's probably a bra or something. It's not super
And
A brassiere.
But like super competent, like smart work characters, and they do interact at work and they keep it professional. Like there's a lot of respect there, and I just really appreciated that.
Yeah.
So I
That's
highly
right,
recommend it over on Viki.
Tasteful. It's tasteful.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these J dramas, while they may not be like super erotic, they ain't tasteful. You know? So, so Jessie, what's another one that you suggest to people to start?
So I'm going to talk about one that I kind of just watched like within the past month, and it's called Why Dress Up for Love. It's on Viki, so it's pretty easy, and it's a 2021 drama. I picked it up because of the male actor, because I love him. But it is, I think if you've listened to our podcast, you know that I'm not a rom-com person for most part, but Japanese dramas do rom-coms differently, and I really like what they're doing, and so that's where I will pick up a lot of kind of like the standard rom-com type of drama, and this is in that kind of realm. It's about a girl who works like at a products company, like they're buying products, and she works as the social media manager, and so her like life is very much like focused on like her followers and creating content for that, and also she's always put together, and she's like super caught up with work. She's in love with her boss, who's like the CEO, because she also does his like she does like dressing and stuff for him too, like so she kind of is like doing a bunch of stuff at the company, and because she's so caught up in work, she forgets that she needs to figure out a place to live, and so she ends up having to go to this to her friend's house, who she thinks it's just going to be she's taking over the lease while the friend's going away abroad, but like finds out it's like a share house, and so she ends up going there, and like of course she ends up like living next door to this guy she had like previously like had encounters with.
Is he wait, question, is he hot?
Oh yeah, totally. So what do you say?
Oh no, he's hot.
And
Classic
he's a chef, but he's like he works at a food truck. He's very like much like the opposite of her. He'll put up the food truck when he wants to. He doesn't want to be tied down to things. And the whole drama is based on obviously them getting together and her kind of like focusing on like how she doesn't have to be so caught up in the presentableness of like who she is. She can be just whoever she is, and like the person that loves her is going to love her for that. But it's also got like some really great moments with the people in the share house. There's not a lot of people in the share house, but they do have like a very solid found family that they kind of like get together, and there's like a dog that's also involved, and it's very involved in the show. Like one of the things that why she's there is to watch over the dog as well. So they take it for walks or do trips with it, and the dog's always just like there. And it's very funny because like if you watch just the dog, there are moments when you can tell the dog just like snaps out of like being excited to be around people and then realizes he's on like a film set, and he's like what are we doing? So he's in like the background, you can clearly see like he's like looking at all of like the boom mics and stuff. Like
you can just imagine the dog wrangler behind the camera going
like stop.
The poor confused dog.
But it is so good from like first episode on. It's great. The relationships are really great. Nice. I really loved like every second of watching, and I think that like a lot of people will like that show too. And I think that's like why I wanted to like highlight it, because I think that if you're going in from K-dramas, this is a really good thing. And it was on Viki, so it's accessible for most people. I'm sure that's on other places too, but it's really good.
Now, the next one I'm going to recommend, I know it's actually a lot of people's only J-drama they've ever seen. And it's my mother's first J-drama, and she loved it. And that's, of course, is Cherry Magic. Because you can't say, like, what's a wholesome drama that people will love in J-dramas without saying Cherry Magic, which, if you're not familiar, have I got a treat for you. It is a little harder to find than the other dramas we talk about. It's on
Viki now, isn't it?
No, it's on Crunchyroll.
I think it's on Viki.
I'm gonna check.
Anyway, the last I saw, it was on Crunchyroll. But it's about this guy on his 29th birthday. Yeah, exactly, Lucy. Very neat drama. Yeah, put it on my epitaph. It's about a guy who's on his he's on the eve of his 30th birthday, and his coworker jokes like, "Oh, there's an old wives' tale that if you're a virgin when you turn 30, you'll get magical powers." And he's like, "Oh, haha, like whatever." But he turns 30 and he's a virgin, and guess
Surprise!
what? Every time he touches someone, he can hear what they're thinking, which he does not like. He's an incredible introvert, awkward dude, and he does not want to know what people are thinking. He doesn't want any of this. But one day, so he tries to avoid touching people. But one day, against his will, he's in an elevator, a crowded elevator, and his coworker, who's like the office hot dude that everyone loves, and he's like the head of sales, and like he's so charming and good looking and gregarious, brushes against him, and he overhears the guy being like, "Oh my god, like my crush looks so cute today. Their hair is so messed up. It's so adorable." And he starts looking around the elevator being like, "Oh, who's this guy's crush? Who has bedhead?" And realizes it's him. And shenanigans ensue. And it is the sweetest, most lovely show.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do a podcast episode on
We
that?
did.
We sort of did. We did it about the actors.
Yeah, we did the
yeah.
actors, and then like I think the last half of the
Was mostly
episode
Cherry
we
Magic.
like mostly talked about Cherry Magic.
And literally it's got the Mama J seal of approval. Like, we all love my mom. We love her seal of approval. As soon as she started watching, we were like halfway through, and she wanted to watch another episode, but instead of saying, "Can we watch more Cherry Magic?" she goes, "Can we see what my boys are up to?" And I was like, "Oh, Mama J, you're one of us now." So anyway, Cherry Magic, absolutely.
And confirmed, seems like it's on Crunchyroll. Even if you go to the Just Watch website, it takes you to a different website, and then it's like, yeah, Crunchyroll. It's just weird. So anyway,
it's
yeah,
on
Crunchyroll.
Which, if you like anime, score. You get balls. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as where we originally watched it, we won't discuss that.
What are you talking about? I watched it with my eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched it with my eyeballs.
I watched it on my computer with my eyeballs.
Duh.
I don't know what you're talking. That's where I watched the movie too. Because there's a movie. There's a movie sequel as well, and it is so good. Sometimes the movie sequel of these things is not good. This one is incredibly good. So, yeah. Look, Lucy, keep that energy. Keep that energy.
So I'm going to pick this drama. The reason I'm going to talk about it is just like Jessie kind of mentioned, like if you're coming in from K-dramas into J-dramas, I really, really think, like, and if you're a contract marriage fan, Only Just Married.
Taking that off my list and replacing it with one of my backups.
I was wondering when it would happen.
Yeah.
Both Natalia and I we watched it pretty much at the same time.
Married. Yeah.
I watched it much after. I think it was a couple months after.
And it's straight up what it's what you sign up for when you sign up for a cohabitation contract marriage situation.
Roommates to lovers. Yeah.
And as far as the dude is more reserved and all that, and I won't get into all the details because really it's really straight up contract marriage, and it has to do with she needs a place to stay and she needs money, and he's like, "I'll front your money if you contract marriage with me." And so she even has this like counter down from like how much money is she like works it off or whatever kind of. So it's super cute. She's a little bit more gregarious than he is, and of course she catches feels first type thing, but it was very sweet. I of course wanted to talk about Full-Time Wife Escapist, but we're going to talk more about that on a whole different thing. So like
we got a whole episode coming for y'all about Full-Time.
But so if you're into contract marriage, like if that's a K-drama thing or another Asian drama thing that you really, really enjoy, if that's a trope that you like,
J dramas have it a lot.
Oh,
a lot.
they got it.
Yes.
And they excel. They really excel at that too.
Mhm.
Like they do it very well. They don't usually mash it up with another vibe. It really is. This is just straight up contract marriage stuff. So you don't really get a serial killer usually. It's just you get J dramas hit that tone very well for that kind of bittersweet thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lucy, I knew you'd be excited about. I knew you'd be excited about a full-time wife escapist episode.
Of course, we had to do it.
Like sometimes when we're like when we're like having a meeting and we're talking about like episode discussions and we decide on an episode, like I think like there's usually someone in my mind I'm like, oh, they're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Like...
or if people have commented, we're like, oh yeah, so and so, like they'll be down for that. So, and it is on Viki, the one that I mentioned. Only Just Married.
Yeah, Viki's really the place that has the concentration of J dramas of a variety of.
Especially if you're into the romance dramas, they heavily pick that up.
You can tell they go license like romance ones, not really like a lot of times Jessie's sitting there wanting other genres.
They'll be like, I want a thriller. I'm like, well, I have to go to Netflix.
No. Jessie,
so I'm gonna talk about one that Lucy kind of just at the very beginning mentioned, but I think this is a really good one that like showcases like what like is off the wall about J dramas, but like can turn into something really great. And it's the J drama You're My Pet or Kimi wa Petto. It is I'm talking specifically about the 2017 version because that's the one I watched. There is a version, I think it was like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
2000 like 3 or something. 2002.
Which is the one I watched,
early.
So
it's an early one. Mm-hmm. And then there's also a Korean movie adaptation of this. And as far as I know, the 2017 one is an adaptation to the original Japanese one. So the premise is off the wall crazy. It is like a Nuna romance. There's like the older female and the younger male. And bear with me, okay? So the main female lead is just getting out of a long relationship that she thought was going to turn into something else. It didn't. They break up. She does some things at work. So she's like having work issues. She's having relationship issues. And she's like still pining over her dog that has died. And she's like very sad and just like kind of down in her luck. And she's, kind of thought everything was going well for her. And it's like this complete turn. When one night after she's been drinking, she sees a cardboard box in front of her apartment and she hears some noise in it and she thinks it's a dog. And when she opens it up, it's not a dog, but like a younger,
it's a
like
man.
20s kid.
It's a male person.
Like just there. And she welcomes him into her house so that he can pretend to be her dog, essentially her pet. It is.
Yeah.
It takes you on a very like great journey. It is not what you expect from that setup of a drama. It focuses a lot on her growth and her finding what she actually wants and not what just like she thought she wanted, like per society and per like just the way that she thought she had to be living her life. And she figures this out through the guy who's younger than her, and he's a free spirit, he's a dancer, and he's trying to pursue his own dreams in this like very demanding like thing. And like it's them like helping each other out, and there's a lot of growth and there's a lot of like realness to it, and it is definitely not as weird as you expect it to be, because like essentially he like lives in like a loft area in her house like for free or whatever, and just like helps around the house, and they support each other so much, and it's just such a beautiful relationship that they developed throughout the series. And I think the pacing of the series is one of the better pacings of a series. It's just the way that the relationship, they handle the relationship and things that happen are very like kind of like realistic too. It's off the wall crazy when you like hear the setup and the initial premise, but it was really great. I watched it when it was on Viki. It was still on Viki, but when they had put it on, and I don't remember who was airing at that point, or Viki was doing that thing where they're doing the fake airing where it's like already uploaded, but they like put it on like weekly. And so I was like eating up those episodes, and I'd be like, I have to wait now. I have to wait a week.
So I was thinking of the TikTok sound too of like, here's my dog, and it's like, that's a dude.
That is a full-grown man. Like,
Yeah.
That is a
And I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, yeah, he just kind of found me on the street and took me home. You kidnapped a full-grown man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a puppy man. He's very sweet, and I think J-dramas do this well with like the age gap thing, where they kind of like focus on like what someone who's younger and their viewpoint in the world versus like someone who's older who's like maybe forgotten some of those things, or like it's allowed the like world to kind of like tarnish their like perspective of things. They're very good at like forcing like the person to see and then also the other person to see, and I think they do those kind of like relationships really well. They do love romance.
Speaking of age gaps, not a weird romance, but my next pick. Okay, pre-warning, before I get into this, I realize a lot of people don't like age gap romances, and I really don't care as long as everyone's legal. And also, my parents had a 30-year age gap, so this has never been like super weird for me as a person, so they don't bother me as much as the other people do. But if you don't like age gaps, just skip this one. It's fine. It's called May-December Couple. And the basic plot is that there's this like girl, I think she's like 22, 23, and she's like very like self-actualized. Like she knows who she is, she knows what she wants in life. And her father's like, I know a guy that I think would be perfect for you. However, he's like in his early 40s and he's divorced, but like he's a really nice guy. And she's like, okay, fine, like, you know, like I'll meet him, whatever. Like, he doesn't have to be anything. And then she meets him and immediately is like, this is my husband. Like, I love this man. I'm going to marry him. So then it just is about them getting married and then people being so incredulous about their age gap, but them being an incredibly healthy, functional couple. And it's just really nice. It's just really nice to see healthy couple dynamics. They like talk about their, you know, any issues that come up. They help each other. It's nice. It's a nice show, and it makes you feel nice when you watch it. So, it's nice. It's a nice one. Do recommend. Exactly, Lucy. Right. If you know what you want and you ain't hurting anyone, who cares?
Go for it.
Know? If you're not doing anything wrong, like there's nothing wrong with a, you know, even if it is, and that's kind of, they both kind of do that. Like they both kind of do that, but in a different vibe each way.
So I'm going to mention this one, but you can't find it anywhere right now. I gotta mention it though. So maybe.
Listen, you can find it.
You never know.
It was a 2022 drama. We will pray that it. The reason I'm mentioning it, so it's Favoritism of the Gods. It kind of has a variety of names, but it is high schoolers, and I know that's not really the topic that we typically go for. But there's supernatural vibes because essentially a gay high schooler has a crush, confesses to the crush, gets rejected, immediately has Truck of Doom type incident and dies. And a god takes pity on him because he had gone to the temple, like, was it 80 days or 100 days? Whatever. There was a specific many times to pray before he confessed to his crush, for it to go well, and it didn't work. So this god takes pity on him and is like, what do you want? And he's like, I just want to go back as a girl so he can fall in love with me. And so he's like, okay, are you sure that's what you want? Yep. So it all stems from that, but it's very, 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 very well done. It goes through the whole process of like talking about attraction. There's even a girl that gets interested in this new girl, you know, the main lead being a girl character. So there's some bi representation in it. There's all types of queer representation and a lot of talks about identity, but not like in a super overt way, but it does. So again, it's not like they talk about identity and attraction, like it's all implied. J-dramas are very good about like, if it is a lot of self-actualization and realization things without having super direct conversations, like they explore those themes very well. And this drama does that. Despite the fact that it's a supernatural, like it's not like you get the god that one episode. Oh no. The god hangs around to see everything that's going on. He has a little assistant. Is it a cat or a fox? Like there's all types of things going on, but the whole thing is like mostly about these high schoolers. And it was just very, very, very well done. So I pray that it comes. I'm sorry that I've mentioned it, everybody, but I think that if it comes somewhere where you can see it, you'll really, really enjoy it, especially if you're okay with it. So there's the J-drama that kind of J-dramas that kind of have a supernatural aspect, but then that's not really the point. The whole point was
it has Yuki Furukawa in it, who, if you've seen like The Mischievous Kiss or whatever it's called, the Japanese version is called, if you've seen that, he's like the main lead. Vicky does like that actor, so I would assume Vicky might be trying to get that at some point. So maybe, you know,
maybe I think people would absolutely adore it. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Well, that's good because that's the point of this podcast. That's right, Lucy. Get that gay IKEA bag going.
So I'm going to take us in another direction, and we're not going to talk about a romance drama to switch things up a bit. I am going to talk about this drama that's actually on Netflix, and it's one of the first J dramas that I watched on Netflix that, or like at least that I know of, that like were very new dramas that Netflix put up, and it's called Switched. I will say there is a trigger warning for suicide. It's a thriller. So it's not going to be for everyone, but I really wanted to like highlight at least like an attainable drama that was outside of like kind of the normal like rom-com romance, you know, melodrama type dramas. And essentially it's this story about these two girls, one who is the popular girl. She's pretty, she's thin, she's great, she's wonderful, she has the great life. And then another girl who is like heavier, and she has a bad like home life and stuff, and she finds out that there is a way to switch bodies with someone if you both commit suicide at the same time, which she forces the other girl to do essentially. So they switch bodies, and the whole entire drama is about them in each other's represented body, and them really learning and understanding the like struggles they both go through. And the way that they handle some of the topics in it, you don't expect them to be as great. Like I didn't expect it, because I'm very worried about like when there are like plus size characters involved, doesn't matter what country you are, most of the time you're never getting it right. And I think they did it really like well in this drama. And it's like you don't know what's going on. There's a lot of like thriller aspects to it, so it's a lot darker and that sort of thing. And it just like takes you on this ride that you just weren't expecting. And about these two girls really figuring out like the struggles of each other despite what they look like on the outside. And I thought it was really great. And it's very short too.
Welcome, Aline. We're glad you're here. Welcome.
Hey, hello. Yes, it definitely surprises. Like the first part is very like
ooh. Now, I'm going to take us back to high school, sort of, but also kind of yikes, and we're back to romance, sort of. Okay. I would like, now, before I talk about this drama, I need to say the first time I watched it, I didn't get it, okay? I was like, I don't know. But then I watched it again and was like, no, wait, I really do get this. Like, this is excellent. And I'd like to talk about the drama My Beautiful Man. It has 2 seasons, but they're both short seasons. One is like 6 episodes, and the other one is 4 episodes. And they're both on Viki, and I think they're both on Gagulala. And you follow this high schooler. It starts in high school, and then they graduate. Who has like a really bad stutter. And because he has a really bad stutter, he has a hard time making friends and talking to people and doing things. So all he does is take pictures because his parents were like, well, you need a hobby. If you get a hobby, then you'll make friends. So he starts taking pictures. But then when he gets to high school, there's a guy in his class, and this guy is popular. He's gorgeous. He wants to be an actor. He's, just absolutely, A+, like, he's cool. And so he becomes like obsessed with this guy to the point of like viewing him as some sort of deific being. And then, so the first half of the show is sort of told from his perspective, and then it switches, like, in each season, episodes will be from one character's perspective, and then other episodes will be from the opposite character's perspective. And it's really interesting because you find out, how this popular guy is riddled, as all people are, riddled with insecurities, and, like, doesn't want this guy to worship him because he likes him. Like, and so, anyway, I can't, like, say more because it's so short that if you say more,
Yeah.
You're giving, like, it's sort of, like, not quite stalker. Like, he's not stalking him, per se, but, like, he'll constantly, like, say things like, oh, you're so beautiful, like, like, you're the most amazing person in the world. And then the other, the popular guy who's, like, not all there with his emotions will be like, oh, you're so creepy and gross. And, like, shove him, be like, and walk away. But as he's walking away, be like, oh, like, it's so good. All seasons are on Viki, and it's a quick watch. And the first time you're watching it, you're like, these people are so deeply fucked up. And they are. But at the same time, it's also a feel-good show. Weirdly, I really recommend it. It's really good, and I like it. Oh, thank you, Aline. That's really kind of you to say that.
Yes, thank you.
That's like the ideal. We want people to listen to us
definitely.
while they
We appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, while you're adulting, just listen to us.
While you're adulting.
Yes, it is more like hero worship, even though the guy doesn't think he deserves to be hero worship, which is like the crux of their relationship issues. It's wonderful. It went from me being like, I don't get it, like, what the fuck is this red flag of a show, to being like, you know what? What is this red flag of a show? I really like it. Also, for people who've joined us since we began, I don't have curtains, so this piece of paper is acting as a curtain so that I don't... Oh, wait! I think the sun's gone. The sun's gone, everyone.
Yay!
If it comes back, the sheet will return.
So am I going to be the one to round it out, or are we going to do another round after this? I'm just curious.
Up to you guys.
Okay, we'll see. The one that I'll mention right now then is it is on Viki. It's called Rokuhodo Colourful Days. ROKUHODO Colourful Days. It's essentially like it's based on a manga, of course. It's based on a manga. It feels like it's based on a manga. They run a traditional tea shop and cafe. It has a lot of very pretty food that they're very proud of having specific themes with. It's all the 4 guys that run it, they're all cute in various ways. You have the one with glasses that's serious and he runs everything. And then you have kind of the tough guy who also speaks Italian, and then
yes.
the like younger looking one who's the chef, stuff like that. So I mean,
I love the genres of men. Handsome, speaks Italian,
young.
young.
I'm trying to look what the other one was. Oh, you know, like the super quiet, like pretty one, like
Introvert.
pretty one. Yeah.
What type of boyfriend are you?
It's really not a romance so much as it kind of just, you know, like a person will just stumble across their tea shop and cafe and they'll be having some issue in their life, be it being lonely or stressed from work or something, and they'll come in and they'll kind of find rest and or get more motivated to then continue about their day. Or like one time it was a widower who was really, he hadn't eaten well in a really long time because he was missing his wife, and so
Aw.
and then he found a fellow diner who was a younger guy, I think, and they ended up sharing a meal, and that helped him, you know, desire for friendship after that. And then they kept meeting up. And so you kind of, as it goes on, you kind of keep seeing the recurring characters. They don't keep talking to them a ton, but you kind of see them in the background after they've kind of become a part of the cast. It's very, very sweet. I'm not saying a slice of life because it's not fantasy, but it's very manga. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then, you know, oh, one of them might have a twin, just because you have to have some drama. So, like, sure. But I really, really do recommend it. Viki, super easy to watch. And there's an anime, too. Not on Viki, Crunchyroll, if you're interested. And it's, they look very much like the characters. Not all J-dramas that are adaptations of anime and manga, they make sure to be that close. But this one, like, they hit it on the nose each time, so it's fun.
Cool.
Also, Lucy, stop giving up what we're going to talk about in the
Seriously.
second half of the live, Lucy. Calm down, Lucy.
We will
We're
talk
talking
about this
like,
later.
dramas that they get people.
We're talking about
Yeah.
the dramas to
The
suck
first
people in.
the first half was starter pack.
These like dramas to ease
Good
you into the
ones.
J-drama life.
You don't start with this guy as the biggest mistake in my life. Obviously, based on the title, you
Yeah,
do not
like,
start with that.
That would be a big mistake, starting with that one. Should we do one more, or do we want to go to Unhinged now?
It doesn't matter.
We given a good selection.
Yeah, we
We
did.
got a good selection for all tastes. I think it's time to unveil
Let's do it.
the K-drama, the J-drama couple axis chart. All right.
And
Now-
so we're making a point to only do heteronormative couples
Yes,
within this chart.
because as we say, we see your female lead and male lead. We didn't want to get into any of that. Hazel, you know what? I will make us a list on Twitter so that we can have a list of what we recommend. I'll make that.
You will also, if you want, this live will always be up. So if you want to actually watch it, it'll be
you can
on our
you can
channel.
go watch it again.
You just have to go to the live tab. That's the way that YouTube does it. It like forces it not onto the like the main
So
video
stupid.
tab. Yeah.
It does it in a way that is not helpful for any creator using.
Oh yeah, we can make a my drama list of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll make a little graphic and stuff too. Like it'll be nice. It'll be nice. So okay, so let me explain this chart. This is for unhinged J dramas. So as you can see, along the x-axis we have the male lead, which goes from the greenest of flags all the way down to he might be a serial killer. It was originally he might collect your skin, but I thought that was a little too graphic. So he might be a serial killer. And then the female lead on the y-axis goes from has no sense of self-preservation all the way down to like safety expert. Okay? So this is how the unhinged J-drama works. So we have thrown in a few good J-dramas just so that, you know, there's some...
Yeah, we're gonna throw you off.
Yeah. So
I guess we should also like say that like there's potential for like minor spoilers just because you know we have to put this
Inherently.
yeah. But these aren't like shows that are like this like spoilers are like the like worst for the story. It's not like we're like telling you who the killer is and like ruining the entire plot. That sort of like spoiler.
Yeah, so don't worry. Oh, don't worry. We'll fit it in. Okay, so I think we got to start with the one that the inspiration for this chat, and that is this man is it's not this man versus Big Mouth. It's Coffee and Vanilla. If you haven't seen Coffee and Vanilla, real brief synopsis. Real vacuous-brained lady is a college student, finds herself swept off her feet by a mysterious CEO whose vibes just... The vibes are off, and immediately they're so in love. So in love, but...
I mean, when you have a face like Dory's, I guess.
I get it. Now,
I get it.
Where do we get this?
For the record, you're talking to the right people. We like serial killers in fiction, too.
Yeah, we do as well.
That's like normally my genre.
That's their stuff.
Yeah. Now, I would say... along the y-axis, we're definitely up here towards no sense of self-preservation.
Yeah, she
exhibits
like with
no
all the
skills.
characters in her. Like there's like one particular scene like halfway, like 2/3 in the drama that she has no self-preservation whatsoever.
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
Through any time. Like, she's dumb. This girl is dumb as a box of rocks.
But she can hold down a job. But it almost feels like her first job. Like it's very she's naive, with the capital N.
Yeah.
Squarely in that.
Now,
oh my god, it's so funny. It's been so long since we watched it. It's just
been
like
forever.
all rushing.
Yeah.
It's all coming back. And I would say, well, he's not quite a serial killer. I would say he's like halfway there. Like, he is a weird dude.
I mean, in the very beginning, you don't know. So there is that serial killer vibe.
He's way, way, way too mysterious. Like, there should be no reason they're even in a relationship knowing so little about him.
Yeah. Like, she's like the prototype for, like, how young women get murdered. Like, is this girl? Like,
well, these are the types of girls you want to take them by the hand. We're going to watch Dateline together, honey.
Like,
we really need to...
Honey, no. Like, okay. No, so I think this is, like, a good place.
Yeah, I think so too.
Next, we've got one that a classic, the classic "Dick Don't Work" plot,
which Sky and I just watched.
I literally just finished this like at 1 or 2 in the morning last night. Thank you very much. I did my homework.
Wednesday or Tuesday or something. Yeah. Okay, so
I watched it when it first came out, and I was like, guys, it's another one. It's another one, guys. Please,
and then we were like, no.
They're like, we can't watch another Coffee and Vanilla.
But then we did it.
So basically, a girl's life falls apart, and she moves into a share house. Oh no, her first love lives there, and he's still hot, but his dick don't work, except next to him.
Also, they're both kind of pitiful. Like, straight up. Pitiful. They're both pitiful characters.
I feel like this is more like right here. Like, they're not terrible, but like, and he's not a green flag, but he's not a red flag either. He's just, maybe he's a little more of a red flag.
Yeah, I would say that like her self-preservation is more that she has allowed what people think of her to like really ruin her confidence. It's not like necessarily like she doesn't know how to like go in stranger danger, you know?
So she's not like good at her own safety, but that's through her own inaction. So I feel like, what do we think about like right here? I feel like, what do we think? Yeah, did they do love a but? It's like a totally normal but.
It's like, okay, so here's the thing with this drama. Like, they're like very early on. It's like,
yeah, okay, yeah, the roommates.
The roommate's a whole thing.
The roommate is a whole thing, and then like just turns on you. You don't expect that arc of that roommate.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like the problem with this show is that it's like super red flags at the very beginning when he's like basically like, you sit on top of me, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
But immediately you see that he's very concerned with consent too.
So
yes.
So like it makes
they have a lot of direct conversations, which makes there's more safety with that.
Yeah.
Which is good. But she doesn't really insist that those conversations happen. They just kind of occur. Does that make sense? Like, he kind of starts those conversations.
So are we going more like here then?
maybe just a hair over into the serial killer side, because you're left wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, like something like there, I guess.
Something like there. Yeah. All right. Okay, now I know what side of the chart this one's going on. We've got Blinded Kiss.
Oh my gosh. So, Blinded Kiss is on Vicky. So far all these are on Vicky, by the way.
Oh my god.
Blinded
Vicky
Kiss.
loves this genre
Okay,
so much.
for the record, Blinded Kiss. The thing that they're trying to sell you is like, ooh, bookworm librarian chick. Like they try to really
No.
And they're also like trying to like win you over with him being like only have like eyes for you.
Yeah.
And they really want you to believe that this is a great romance. And it is
this is a
unhinged
stalker.
not.
Stalker.
He is upset with her books. Like he gets jealous with her books.
Though she has always been a bookworm. It's not like this is a new thing.
Also, you know what? This show's unhinged, but I got one big beef with this show, and is that the show goes on about how big her book collection is. I got a bigger book collection.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
but maybe for like Japanese apartment life.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
So
you're
here's
right,
the thing. Here's the thing. Also with this show is that you could say that she has no self-preservation because during the show it is like she's like, I just want to sleep with someone. Like that's like basically like her like point. So like she does kind of allow things because she's just like she needs some. Like
she's horny,
but she's also like aware of some things. But
I feel like she's on the line.
Okay, I will say, if you're putting her that far, you need to slide Kakafukaka chick down further towards safety expert. Because she kind of knows what's up.
That's true.
Like there?
Like, I'd say as far as who's... I'd say Kakafukaka would be closer to safety expert than Blinded Kiss would be.
Absolutely.
So like that.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of...
You know,
she gets deer in the headlights
a little
so
bit
much.
more on Blinded Kiss up to that, yeah. Because she just like kind of allows some things, and she doesn't like think about some of the things that are very like not okay things that he says or does, and she's just
now, as the show progresses, you at least get the vibe that he's not going to kill her, but it takes quite a while.
It doesn't completely disappear though.
No,
I'm a bit. He might not kill her. But he might kill any dude who looks at her.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Also, there's
weird.
there's like a little fantasy. Yeah. There's.
Yeah. It's a show.
Yeah. They try to con you into the like that she just wants it, but she like. Yeah. He's not good. Like he's not charming in any respect whatsoever. He has money, I guess. He has the house that she needs and.
Now, I will say, I laughed so much during that show. Like, there's also, like, a striptease fantasy that she has. Like, it's ridiculous.
The show is a lot. The show is so unhinged. Speaking
Did I binge it? Did I binge it in one sitting? Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah. Was
it enjoyable? Yes. Was it good?
No. I would not recommend it. You notice we didn't talk about it earlier.
It wasn't part of our
There's certain things that like we'll watch and enjoy, but we won't tell other people to watch them. They don't need to know that part of our life. You, the viewers, and anyone who happens upon this video. Next, we've got another just absolutely unhinged drama, and that is Sweat and Soap. Now,
okay, I've only watched one episode of it.
I have watched this drama. This drama for some reason I like it. Even though it's not good, okay? It's fucked up. It's a fucked up drama.
You also had your mom watch a little bit of it, didn't you?
I did. And she was like, what is this? So, okay, here's the basic plot. There's a girl who suffers from excessive sweating, and she works at a soap company. And while she's like looking at the news brand of soap, this guy comes up to her and he's like, oh my God, you smell amazing. Can I smell you? Turns out he's like the guy who like creates all of their most popular soaps, and he's a super sniffer. And he just loves smelling her because he gets inspiration from how good she smells and finds her incredibly attractive and loves how much she sweats and how she smells. And she has like a real hang up because she used to be made fun of for being sweaty as a kid. So Izzy, here's my thing about it. He's weird, but you don't ever think he's gonna hurt anyone. Like he's not like.
Because I will say, in that first episode, it like clearly is. You can tell that he's just like, I like that scent. Like it's very like one track, and like I don't even care about you. Like so, the only like thing you get like a sense of is that like maybe he'd hurt her, and that he'd be like a douche outside of that. Like you know, like
he's
he'd
like
be
really
like one
nice
of those
outside of that. Like he's nice to everyone. Like he's a nice guy, but he's a little creepy because he's just like he really likes smelling her. Let's like, just say, as the show goes on, it gets more.
I do feel like she would be closer to safety expert than Kakafukaka girl, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like here-ish.
They at least in the one episode they do kind of play out because it's such a strong insecurity for her. This like to the point where she's at the company that she's at. It's because it's the only company that produces any sort of like fragrances that like mask her odor. That's why she like is there too.
Yeah.
I will say that like in terms of like the actual like the show being creepy on her, like that's the like big thing.
It does.
Like,
it
they're
does
very
get,
much
a little better. Like the first episode, like once you sort of get used. Is it against her consent? No, it's not against her consent. He does actually ask her permission to smell her.
Yeah.
And at first she's
and
like,
he like very clearly identifies who he is too. He's like one of like the top.
And he explains why he wants to smell.
He's like in all of the promo too. Like so she knows who he is in comparison to the like the company. She works like in the finance department or something.
She's an accountant. Yeah. It's not like against her consent. Like she's like uncomfortable but agrees to it. But then he's not like creepy about it. But then he's like, actually, I really like you. Can we?
Yeah. She's more of like, but everybody else has always said that I smell gross. So why would you?
He's like, no.
So it would be more of like her just being like incredulous, like, are you gonna do a Carrie situation to me? You know, like that sort of thing.
And anyway, she has like a really nice arc for her and stuff. And he's a little kinky, but she's into it. Like as the show progresses, she gets
if they're both into it, then whatever.
Fine with it.
It's your thing.
All right, Lucy, this next one's for you. This man is the worst mistake of my life.
Oh my gosh. Did I watch that first? I feel like I watched that first, didn't I?
We watched it at the same time.
Okay.
We were like, what the?
You guys definitely talked about it in the same kind of like what watching episode, but I did not watch this. I know that I probably would never want it. So.
You know what? I'm gonna be a little generous. I don't think he gives off serial killer vibes. He's just fucking weird, okay?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think.
Well, see, the thing is, the plot of this one is there's a woman who works at a pharmaceutical, she's an accountant at a pharmaceutical company.
She does kick his ass. That's important to know.
And she's mourning the loss of her dog who died. And then this guy makes a snide comment about it in the bar where she's talking to the bartender. So she trips him, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about tripping you, except that I'm fucking not sorry about tripping you, you fucking asshole."
So then, definitely safety expert.
Yeah, and then the next day, she finds out that he's the CEO of her company. But guess what? He has a total degradation kink, and is like, "I want you to kick me harder, like, please tell me I'm worthless, like, mistress."
Yeah, I don't think she could possibly be any more safety. I think you need to put her even further.
She's off the chart here. She's ready to like fucking, if this guy does anything, it's you know what? It's exactly never before has a woman treated me thusly, and he's hot for it. Like, but the show is goofy and ridiculous and stupid. Just know this.
But he so that happens, and then he's all like going after her after that, just wanting the kink aspect, not really let's be in a relationship, more I'm going to keep bothering you.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to work. Like she's just trying to be a person.
Leave me alone. And he's like, "But I want to come to my birthday party." and tell everyone how much you hate me, so they all know how much you hate me because I love that. Like, he's so fucking weird. Okay. But he's also played by this actor who does these sorts of roles. That's like his wheelhouse.
He does. I would never recommend this show to anybody.
No,
just like Blind and Kiss.
Like, I'll go watch it again.
Yeah. No, listen, Lucy and I have a tenet that we stand by, and it's no shame, no taste. We may have no taste, but we have no shame that we have no taste. She's not getting paid to insult him. She's getting paid to be an accountant. He just wants her to insult him because he finds that hot as hell.
But
I'm trying to remember, like, what made her...
Like, is there a power imbalance in that respect?
Yeah, like, what made her go along with him? I'm just trying to remember. Did he wear her down? He just
wears her down. Like, he just literally just keeps showing up and not going away. And finally she's like, and then she'll get mad at him and be like, leave me the fuck alone, fucking weirdo. And he's like, yes, that's what I want. And she's like, damn it, I'm playing right into his hand.
And she eventually just kind of is like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
That's really, I feel like the end was pretty much okay, whatever.
Yeah,
on her side.
She gave up.
Okay.
She gave up. She was like, you win. I'll be mean to you forever, I guess. It's like, yeah, he does try to pay her several times, and she's like, no, we're not doing this.
I forgot about that.
No, it's not quite Love with Leashes, because that one was good. That one was
Love with Leashes was so good.
That one was over here. That one would be over in the upper corner there, or the lower corner on that side. Anyway,
Love and Leashes, I will recommend to people.
Yeah. Love and Leashes. I'm on the wrong layer. Love and Leashes would be like here, okay? But no, we're here. We're here.
That kind of, based on what you guys are saying, I think that is.
But when you're watching it, you're just like, where is this going?
Where is this fucking guy going? Next, now for something completely different, we've got Full-Time Wife Escapist.
We just wanted like the picture to look right.
Yeah, we wanted some good ones. We needed some good ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Lucy the Bannister. Oh, fuck the Bannister. Like, I'm telling you, okay, you can say a lot of things about the worst mistake of my life, but you can't say that the main actor wasn't having a good time filming it. Like, he's
so good in such weird roles. He's so good.
He does weird ass roles, man.
I mean, you can see him in the other weird role that he's in right now.
Yeah, Vicky just added the reason why he can't marry, which isn't on this, but it's where he's in love with a doll, but a girl who works at his company wants to marry him, and then has to contend with the doll.
He's like, you know what? I will do the unhinged ones and collect those paychecks, and you know what?
Oh yes.
Did we do a live stream about Love and Leashes?
I think we did.
I don't think it was a live stream, but it was definitely an episode.
We did an episode. For the record, we have talked in detail about Love and Leashes before, if anyone's interested. Yeah, all four of us. So, like, that's a thing in case you want to hear our thoughts on all that.
Yeah.
Obviously not a J-drama. That is a K-movie.
Yeah.
And for those who didn't hear earlier, we will be doing a full dedicated podcast, the three of us, about Full-Time Wife Escapist. So we're not going to like talk about it that much. We will do
just know green flags all around the board.
Oh my gosh, like beyond
both of them.
The smoothiest of lines
Chef's kiss
coming from him. Ugh.
More self-realization for both of them, but they were also already very good adults to begin with. Like, it's so
and they're
good.
like willing to like compromise and hear each other out and be like, yeah, thank you for sharing that with me, and thank you for making me see. Oh god, it's so good.
It's one of those things like I would want every couple who's wanting to get married, who is like
to watch it, and even if people are like, oh, it's kind of unrealistic, I don't freaking care. Watch it. It could be realistic
if you've seen, because this is my first life. It's kind of like, I would say that like as a K-drama, that's like the closest to this, because it's very much like
it's the same
about
vibe.
them, kind of looking at like marriage
duties,
kind of a little bit more literally, and seeing the inequalities of the sexes. It's
Full-Time Wife Escapist.
It just Netflix just put it up. There's
it's on Viki as well.
2 seasons, but it's like 1 season and then 1 like hour-and-a-half movie type special.
And the movie is good too. Like,
And it was done during COVID as well. So if
Yeah.
that's like a thing that like you might not want to hear, they do talk about the pandemic a lot in that. But
in the movie.
Super bingeable.
Yeah.
mhm. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
So
but yeah.
healthy, Elaine.
We will be talking a lot about. We'll be releasing an episode soon. So
And now for something completely different, we have The Color of Romance.
I've only seen episode 1, so
Oh god. Yeah, just
Color of Romance,
as much as you can.
just
wow,
boy.
that bad,
Oh,
that
it's
bad.
bad.
It continues
It's
to be that bad.
It just gets
It's
worse.
so bad. It just like oh my god, it's worse on
So-
every level.
So to repeat, this
Every
is Color of
level.
Romance. It's on Viki.
And it just like literally just happened. It is
Unhinged. Yes,
Lucy, yes.
Unhinged.
It's unhinged. It's also terrible script. Like the writing
It's
sucks
bad.
too.
It's bad.
So like you've got like it being unhinged and then also being just terrible on its own and oh my god.
It makes none of the characters make any sense. Nothing they do
No.
makes sense. Nothing makes
Nothing.
sense.
There's not a single thing that makes sense. You don't understand why things are happening. They just happen. And you're like, what are the steps that I'm missing that we like did I just blank out like for a little bit? Did I like
Want
fall
that
asleep?
energy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's actually 100%.
Yeah.
Continuing the Unhinged, I think I might be the only one who's watched this on this podcast, but Yakuza Lover.
Yeah, no, it hasn't come here yet.
It's on Disney Plus in Canada.
I keep looking for it.
I think it's about here. Or maybe, you know what? I think he actually does kill people, so I think it might
So
be
maybe
over
he has
here.
to literally
He's
be
not-
over there.
Yeah, he's not.
So,
he's
so
not
you're keeping Blinded Kiss guy further than a guy that's actually killed people.
Listen, but he's not creepy about it. It's business, okay?
Oh yeah,
But what he
it's
is
his
creepy
job,
about-
okay? This guy.
Okay? What he is creepy about is her. He meets her one time, and then is like, "I love you, baby. I love you. We're perfect. It's a perfect woman." And she's like a first-year college student. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm down.
Oh,
to
shoot.
fucking clown. I'm down to fucking clown with this 30-year-old Yakuza guy."
Oh no,
And then-
no.
And like, let me tell you, that D must have been something incredible because, like,
You know, we
the
all
amount
have our
she is
kinks.
willing to put up with absolutely no sense of like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kills people for money. It's business. It's
Yeah.
not that he's a
It's
sicko.
just a job, you know.
It comes with the.
We all
he
do
was born
jobs.
There-
we don't-
I have seen people who are very, very, very into the manga. So
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
The manga is just as unhinged. I have read it. It's equally as unhinged. It's just more explicit because it's a J drama.
I think
Anyway,
Lizzie also
fucking
likes it. She
unhinged.
thinks
Yeah.
it's unhinged,
just-
right? Yeah.
Next, so Yakuza Lovers on Disney Plus if you're in Canada. It's a show, okay? It actually has a sick opening credit theme, though. I will say this: the opening credit theme song, chef's kiss.
If it was that good, then let her
It's a
be. I
second-
mean,
listen, he doesn't, he tries to protect her as best he can, but like, she gets herself into shit because she's dumb. So
well, it sounds like she's super young too. Like
Yes.
legal, but young.
legal, but yeah, she's like 20, like maybe like 19 or 20, and he's like 30, and
it's the
it's.
it's the actress who was in Nei Sensei, right?
It's the actress who's in. Is it the same actress as in 3Bs? You shouldn't date.
Yeah, who's the same
Yeah.
as in Nei Sensei. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Um,
she's collecting these shows too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next we've got. This is a tough one. An incurable case of love. Where does a tsundere?
Oh.
Where does a tsundere?
I have only watched a
I
half
would
of
say
an
it's
episode.
probably about here. Maybe about here. Like he's mean, but he's like he's a tsundere. Okay,
Mhm.
so but he's not taking advantage of her. He's not being creepy. He's a little like
He's also not extra mean. That's a thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Aline, were you meaning Yakuza Lover or Incurable Case of Love? Because those are the two. It's either Yakuza Lover or Incurable Case of Love.
Incurable Case of Love, just in case you need to remember, because some of these names don't help you remember. This is the one where there's they meet when she's like a kid, and then he saves somebody's life. She
Yeah,
didn't save
she-
her
yeah.
life.
No,
No,
she
he
comes
saves, like,
up
an
to
old
a
lady.
person. Like, she's the first one to come, and then he shows
Calls
up
for
and she's
help,
like,
and then
"Really?"
so she gets inspired to like become
nurse.
a nurse, and he's a doctor. And so then when she graduates nursing school, you know, of course, boom, that's exactly where she ends up working with him. So she puppy
is her
dogs after
dream.
him really bad. And she's honestly not that good of a nurse yet. She can't even do like freaking IVs and
Yeah, she's a
draw
first year.
blood very
Like,
well.
She just graduated. Like,
But she graduated nurse. Anyway, I had some issues with this. Like, she graduated nursing school. Whatever.
She's nervous. She's new on the job and nervous.
But as far as he's not problematic, he's just like keeping her at arm's length and is tsundere and a doctor.
You know
and,
what?
like,
I'm gonna
girl.
be kind. I'm gonna move him
Do
in the
they-
middle over here.
Do they do it because there's such a significant age gap between them? Is that part of why
No,
they
it's
might
just
be
because
doing it?
he's
Okay.
just because basically he's sort of her superior at work. But then
Well.
she like works really hard and improves.
I will
And
say,
she
that,
well-
like,
appreciates
yeah,
that
you've
about
probably
her.
seen clips of this because I feel like a lot of people love this show.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Is
It was
it
my
on
number
Vicky
5
yet?
It is.
It is on
Vicky,
Vicky.
yeah.
It is.
Okay, it used to not be.
Yeah, I
On Vicky,
didn't watch
for
it on
sure.
Vicky.
That's where I watched the half episode that I did.
But I will say, despite the fact that her character's inability to nurse very well got better, and he actually was behind the scenes very supportive of that, and when she became more competent, he was more interested, which
Okay.
Yeah,
makes logical sense, honestly.
yeah,
Like, don't be puppy dogging after me. You can't even freaking do your job yet.
yeah.
Legit, that's fine.
Yeah, work on your studies.
Yeah, like,
Mhm.
focus.
So next we've got a real classic for you, and that'd be Mischievous Kiss.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't seen any Mischievous Kiss
Oh
before.
my gosh, Sky! You know what we should do, but I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do
Watch
it.
each-
either.
watch
Let's
each
do a
version.
reaction like we did with
Oh.
the Voices for Flowers.
Oh.
would
I've
actually
seen
funny.
all. I've seen all of
versions
the
Ye-
versions. Yeah.
You guys don't need to. I will sacrifice myself sometime. You guys don't need to redo Mischievous Kiss. I can.
Which is really funny because when we're talking about the one that we just, the Incurable Case of Love or whatever it's called, like what you were talking about, her and her nurse stuff happens in Mischievous
Yeah.
Kiss.
But imagine
incompetent.
Imagine if she was
Yeah.
incredibly stupid as well.
Yeah.
Whereas the nurse
Like-
girl in this other show, like she's not dumb. She figures out I kind of suck. I need to.
Okay,
be
so
better.
in Mischievous Kiss, she's dumb, but she's super sweet.
Yeah,
Like she's just like actually dumb. Like it's not like a
yeah. She's
quirky
literally
like
stupid.
personality thing. She's just
Yeah.
not good at it.
That's a struggle.
Yeah,
That's a
Um,
struggle.
Yeah, so she has no self-preservation because of it. So if you haven't watched the storyline of this, is essentially she's in love with the main male lead. They're both in high school. He rejects her very publicly. And one day, like it depends on your like your like version of it, like a meteor comes and hits her house and ruins her house, so she has to go and live with her dad, because she just lives with her dad's like best friend. It saw that this has happened to her and they're like, you need to come live with us, and lo and behold, whose house is it? That kid's.
And he has no time for her nonsense.
Yeah, he's very
He's not a
into
bad
it.
guy. He's just very tsundere.
I will say that I feel like
No wonder I'm like this now.
the J drama version is more tsundere than like super
other
outright
versions.
mean, but
Yeah.
like the Korean drama, I
He's
think he's just
He's such
mean.
a dick.
He's like just a
Korean.
jerk.
So what I've always wondered, how close
but then you have
is
Kiss Me Thai version, which is like all on its own, great and wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
The worst version of it. Well, it did come out much earlier than Incurable Case of Love. I will say this. She fought back.
She sort of does.
She wears him down over time. Let's just say that.
I will say the best part of the Mischievous Kiss series is her with his mom. His mom
Yeah.
is so
Such a delight.
so sweet. and is absolutely in love with her because she's always wanted like a daughter, and so she like takes her in as the daughter. And just, he also has a little brother that's a jerk too. Yeah. All the men in this family, besides the dad, are weird.
So, like, I obviously haven't seen any of the Mischievous Kiss, but anytime anyone starts talking about it, at least it reminds me of Heartstrings.
Yeah.
A little. Oh, just a little. I know, not like, but as far as that trend back then, it like sounds similar Tsundere vibes.
His mom is not the standard mother-in-law trope.
She's wonderful.
Complete opposite.
She genuinely loves this girl more than she loves her own sons.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Genuinely. She's like, my sons suck. They're so
douchey. And it's not like a thing where the sons pick up on it and that's why they're mean to her. That's probably why they start to be nicer to her, because the mom is so in love with her.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I will say that I like the female lead in the Korean version. Jung So Min just does it so much better.
She's so good.
She's just so good.
Next.
Yeah.
Our next one, we've got a family favorite. Ni Sensei. I think it's like
I'm going to reiterate, we did a podcast episode on this in case you want detailed information. We have talked about it.
Like, she's sort of clueless in a lot of things, but not so much that she has no sense of self-preservation. She just doesn't go out or see people.
She's a super introverted, socially awkward, sticks to. But him.
So, Nate Sensei is on Viki, just so you know.
Yeah. He's the greenest flag you've ever seen in your entire
This is like
life.
The start of like a subgenre of, well, it might not be the start, but the start of what we watched, like the subgenre of like a J-drama where it's like the romance, but it's like aggressively the sweetest, most kindest, best option for a male who like takes the person and like is very nice to them in whatever relationship they're doing. Yeah, it's just,
you know, like that joke that's like, oh, I only like fictional men. They're talking about this guy. This is the guy. About. This is the fictional man.
Yeah.
That and my husband, who the two of them got to witness come and hang something onto my window for me earlier and be very sweet and kind.
Yeah.
He's my fictional man. But yeah, no, this guy he's unbelievable.
She completely lucked out. Like, I don't know how someone could get so lucky.
No. There's none of that energy at all. Like, he's just a genuinely nice dude.
And I will say, you will want to binge the show. Like, if you haven't seen it,
and it's very short, so
go binge it. Go listen to our podcast episode about it.
While it was airing, so y'all are lucky.
You got. It's next, we got another fan favorite that we did recommend earlier, or Sky recommended earlier. Rinko-San wants to try.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I talked about this earlier.
I would say, like, right there. What do we think?
And Rinko-San is squarely in that Nei Sensei genre, that little subgenre, where it's, especially, I think it's, like, there seems to be a lot more, especially now, where it's, like, mostly about, like, male leads who are very kind and considerate of like the sexual encounters with the female lead area too. Like, there's something.
Yeah,
I don't know what they call
the communication is so good. And she is like super smart. Like, I guess. So why aren't they in the corner? I will ask that question. Why are they not in the corner?
I just don't think he's as perfect as the guy from Full Time Wonder.
That's very true. He's not. He is more tsundere. Like, he's definitely not as good as the Nei Sensei guy.
And like, he doesn't communicate as much as they do.
True.
In my mind.
He's very like
quite there, but
nice
he's good
in terms of like the relationship and them together, but he's like, that like
also
classic jerk outside of it. Or
like, they're not even in a relationship when they start having encounters, so it's like a totally
he's
different
basically just
avenue.
like, I will like lead you in this, you can do whatever.
Go watch it.
It's good. Next we got one. Love is Phantom.
Oh
I
my
haven't
gosh.
seen this at all.
Was that the one that I watched first? That I was like, Natalia, you got to go watch
you're
this.
Like, Natalia, please go watch this, Natalia. J-Drama's come a long way. Paul, right? Look at us.
Just look at us.
Love is Fandom, I would put like here.
So Love is Phantom is on Viki, everybody, in case you're curious. The
plot. There's a girl who works at a cafe and a hotel. She's very young. She doesn't know much about anything. And there's a mysterious the head concierge at this hotel is this like hot, mysterious dude. And
hyper competent.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the main thing about him.
And she sees him on the roof and thinks that he's like
gonna jump.
And she's like, no, there's so much to live for. La la la. And then he finds her charming, and then
they smooch, I think, right?
They rail suit like immediately after meeting. And then he's like, well, I guess we're fucking dating now. And then they start having sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I don't did they start having sex right out? Like anyway, I don't remember.
They did real early, and then like she gets kicked out of her apartment and has to move into his house. Like,
there's cohabitation. As far as how scary is this guy? You just don't you don't know much about him, and he is
okay.
He definitely knows way more about the world than she does, and to me that's always like scary. You know what I mean? She just doesn't know much.
Like sometimes age gaps like they don't make me uncomfortable. Like as I said, my parents have a 30-year age gap, but I need to point out they met when my mom was 30. And I feel like that's an important distinction to make.
It is.
She was already she had already been married.
Whereas
before,
and that's kind of the thing about Love is Phantom. The lead girl later on in the show, as her character develops, I'm really interested in making special coffee beans or whatever she finally finds interest and purpose and all these things. But it's already as their relationship is accelerated so quickly before she's even really found herself. So you have that weird, whereas he's already way up here in his food chain at work.
He's the top dog at work, essentially.
Constantly working, he's a workaholic. And she's living at his house, which come to find out is the family house. And she becomes
sort of like a live-in maid. Like, it's weird vibes. It's weird vibes. And I agree, Lucy. He's shady, but he's not, like, murderer shady. He's just kind of shady. Like, he's kind of like,
Again, totally bingeable. Yeah, the problem is she's very naive.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing with age gaps, like especially when you're in the age gap where it's like by numbers, they're clearly in the legal. It's where they are in their life emotional life, but also like where they are in their relationship life too. So like someone could be older, but if they haven't experienced that much relationships and you have this like big age gap and the other person has, there's like that imbalance that like can be really weird. Like it can be good. It can like some of the, like Rinko-San and stuff like show that, but like it gets, there's a gray area where you have to kind of figure out like if this is something that you're comfortable with.
Right. Now, as far as, is this character really that scary? No, he's just mysterious and older. That's really what it comes down to.
He's off-putting. He's not scary.
And it's just those relationships that like, oh, we're kind of in a relationship without even really having a direct conversation about it. That type of thing. And that just continues. Communication sucks for that couple. Just does. Was it enjoyable to watch?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd call it enjoyable. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh, you gotta check out Love is Phantom. I'm just like, man, if you watch Love is Phantom, come tell me what you thought.
Right, that's essentially. But there's no reason to be super concerned as you're watching it, despite the fact that you might be uncomfortable because of that age gap and stuff. He doesn't ever do anything shady. I mean, he's actually fine.
Yeah.
It's just you think he's shady the whole time.
Yeah, he's just shady. He's just fucking shady. Next, we've got Kimi wa Pedo.
That I talked about.
I haven't watched it yet.
I think you'd love it, Sky. I really do. Like, it's one of those things that just like throws you off on the initial setup and then changes your viewpoint completely, which I think is like quintessential. Like, J-dramas do it the best. They do these weird off the wall setups and then execute it in like ways you never expected.
Yeah. Since we were talking about that one earlier, we're gonna go next to the Virgin Woman of Literature. Bum, 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 bum,
I think you
bum.
might be the only one that's
Well,
seen it.
I am. He's such a dick. He's such a dick. He's such a dick.
But
Yeah.
so like, where do you put just a really dicky guy?
Like, I put him past this is where, like, neutral. This is the neutral man.
Yeah.
Okay? But he's such a dick that he gets moved. Okay? But
how is she? Which is she? Like, she's just like,
she's very
I like
naive.
you because you look okay.
No, and like, I can't even describe. Like, I don't even know how to describe it because she's just trying to get. She's this like new editor, and she's just trying to get him to like turn in his manuscript on time, but he's just a fucking dick about it, and she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything.
She doesn't need to be in that position.
Yeah, it was
to be in
anyway,
charge
it was
of people.
a bad scene all around. Next, we talked about earlier, May-December couple. I would say he's so good. He's such a good dude. But she's like a little naive, but she's not like super naive. And she knows herself. So if you want to see an age gap romance that's not uncomfortable,
Okay.
May-December couple it's on Viki, and it's the one to do it. We only have a few left. He's so lovely. He's such a good husband. The next one I think is going to be a little tricky because there's a lot of moving parts to talk about. Okay? And that's the 3 Bs you shouldn't date.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. So.
Okay, so this one's like,
it's definitely on this half of the screen, but not this far. It's more
here's
like,
the thing that also brings it into like kind of perspective. It's like it could be placed in like a weird area, but it's also meant for younger audiences, so it doesn't ever breach into like it, like some of the like things, because it's not supposed to. It's for a younger audience, so it gives it a little gray area because you're like, well, it will never go into this, you know, really bad area because they're not going to ever talk about sex really at all. Like,
I think it's about here because like they're all red flags, like all 3 of these dudes, but they're not bad guys. They're just, the show is very honest. Yeah. You shouldn't date these guys.
Yeah, and they
except for maybe Dory's character, who actually wasn't a bad guy. He was actually a good dude. But
no,
which is why it's close. But the other 2, hot.
So basically, it's about she ends up, like her house gets burned down or something, and she has to go live in her
grandma's share house. Yeah, her cool, sexy, hip grandma.
Yeah, so she like
traveling the world with her hot younger boyfriend.
And it's like with all these like guys that she's like already kind of met and was just like put off by. And she's a groomer, like a dog groomer. So there's a lot of like really cute dogs.
Oh, doggies.
Yeah.
But it's very tame. It really is like PG-13 under. Like that's where it lives.
They're red flag. Like they would be the worst boyfriends you've ever seen.
Yes, but like not
Except
in like a scary way.
Yeah, not in an abusive way, just in a terrible boyfriend sort of
terrible.
way.
I love Dory so much.
Dory's character in it is the only one who deserves the time of day.
Yeah, he's the bartender.
You put Dory in anything and Jessie will check it out at least.
I literally will. Like as long as I can get my hands on it, yes.
I'm really excited for his new show that also has Yuta from NCT in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a red flag dating sim. Exactly, Lucy. It's an Otome game with all bad options.
By the way, most Otome games are usually bad options. In case you're ever curious.
I will say that 3B does do that like really sweet thing where like the boys actually start to like become a little bit better because they like see that she's like they're driving her crazy by like eating all of her ice cream or something, you know, like so you're like okay. But they all just kind of are like, maybe I should date this girl.
They're just not green flags, okay?
Yeah.
But they're not irredeemable.
But they could be like green flags later on in life. They're just,
they could improve.
nothing-
There's room for
yeah.
improvement. Next,
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one, but Perfect Crime.
Okay, another
I haven't
Dory
seen
one.
Where are we putting it?
Okay, so this one's messed up. So I would put him this one honestly like very close to the Coffee and Vanilla, maybe
Okay.
closer to Serial Killer. So like
Okay.
up,
Right
like
here?
so up, like in line, yeah, like round there. Maybe like just make a little trifecta between Yakuza lover,
here?
Like there.
or
Here?
maybe a little, yeah, right there, perfect.
Okay.
So like this show is so crazy, and I watched it a while ago, so like I don't remember all the plot points, but like essentially she, the main female, is having an affair with a coworker who's married, and Dory's character comes in as like a new product designer or whatever. He figures out that they're having an affair and uses it to his advantage. There's like, so the crime is the affair. There's no actual like murder, which I went into it thinking was a murder show, and I was like hoodwinked because of it. But like, it's pretty bad.
Is it pretty intense? It
Like,
sounds intense.
intense in like, it's not like a thriller intense. Like,
It doesn't feel like a thriller because it sounds like blackmail is what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, like it's blackmail, but I mean like it's not like a, not like it was
Not
like
scary
anybody.
blackmail.
Yeah, and it wasn't anybody writing this that
No
was
one
going
was,
to do really good. Like,
danger.
yeah, it was just like more of like toying with emotions and like toying with like the fact that he knew about her affair. Yeah, it's messy, but it's Dory, so
Oh, you
you
got
got me. Sorry, I think it's on Viki.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I read the description. I was like,
I
oh,
don't
that's
think
a
I watched
show.
it on Viki, but
Listen, we don't. It's fine. It's fine. Our final real. This was a real dark horse. Oh, it started snowing. Anyway, our final real dark horse situation. We've got Absolute Boyfriend.
Yes.
Listen,
We
love
have an
this guy.
episode about, by the way.
oh, that
I
is
feel
right.
like
The
we have an
wife.
episode.
Yeah, there's some craziness and about that. Yeah,
I would
forgot
say
about
it's
that.
like Hereish.
Okay,
Hereish? Where we go? Hereish?
so
I'm trying.
okay,
I
it's been
can't
a
really
while.
remember
I never
her. It's been
finished it, but
I don't think
will.
I did either. I
have
watched
an
the
intention to. I just
K-drama
need to
version.
Start it back up again to like remember, but like, so she has self-preservation, but she also
Yeah.
like spends a lot of money on this robot, which is
Yeah.
not really self-preservation.
I feel like it's around here.
But I will say that like there is a sense of him maybe being not the best of robot. A lot of
Not following the laws of robotics, as it were.
Well, no, like that might like turning into a bad robot.
Yeah,
type
that's what I
thing.
mean.
Yeah.
Sort of an
Like
iRobot
short-circuiting.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe more
Because he's
like-
also very aggressively into. I mean, he's programmed because he's supposed to be her lover as the program of the thing, but like he gets a little bit like maybe he might kill people because of it. Like you always like are in that like, well, you're like, would this actually become like a murder show?
Because he's also super strong. Like they do showcase the fact that like
Yeah.
he has the ability to do all types of crazy stuff.
What are we? So like, yeah. So we'll move over a little bit, and
Yeah.
yeah.
We did an episode when the Absolute Boyfriend, the K-drama version came out. We like talked about like all the different versions of this thing because there's also that Chinese
Yeah,
drama
the
that I
Chinese
think
version.
Amanda watched the most of out of all of us.
Yeah.
So there is an episode where we talk about this, and we actually watched the first like 1 or 2 episodes together. I remember that.
So that's
I mean, it's weird and it is fun. Like
It is fun.
Does
So-
anybody have any questions about anything on here?
about the axis
Yeah,
chart.
or if like you would change something.
Yeah.
We may make more of these axis charts in the future. Jessie had a really good suggestion that maybe we do a unhinged Thai drama one about like how unhinged the couple is, because some of them are pretty unhinged. So we might we might come back with some more of this if we enjoyed this Axis chart situation. I can pump these out all day. Don't even stop me. I'll do it.
And the reality is, some people only like watching shows that are kind of more in the like lower right quadrant. Like some people prefer to watch green flag type couples.
Yeah. And like, if you want to do that, like upper left too,
just know what you're getting into.
Just know what you're doing. Like, don't go into Blinded Kiss thinking it's a sweet librarian situation.
So, I don't think in terms of like writing style it's like this, but like I feel like if you are a type of person as a K-drama person who likes mahjongs, you're going to like go up into that left corner. Like it has that, but it's still like a little bit different. Like you're not going to get as crazy difference.
It's true, Lucy. It's true. Yeah, I know you're not really offended, Lucy. Get out of here with your false offense. You liar. You filthy liar.
I've never heard of Wallflower. I don't know what that one is. I don't know.
Who's in it?
Yeah, you're like, is Dory in it? Is Dory in it?
Or are you saying it? I'll check it out. I don't think Dory's in it.
Is it the one from 2010, Lucy?
Perfect Girl Evolution?
The one I'm looking at is Yamato no Deshiko.
Yeah, Perfect.
Henge.
Yeah, Perfect Girl Evolution is another name for it. The only one I see listed on. Yeah, that's what Lucy says. Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's coming out. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
There's a lot going on.
People are very, very popular. Yeah, I am. Okay, yeah, this sounds like something I'd be really into. Dang it.
Okay, so maybe we'll watch it.
Yeah.
If we can find it.
Yeah. Lame male leads. See, the thing about this chart is, you can't say that the male leads in the upper corner are boring. You can't say that.
That's true.
You wish they were slightly more boring sometimes.
But also, I think some of the fun of watching some of those is like we said with Coffee and Vanilla when we first the whole time you're just going, what is happening? You can't even put your finger on it. You can't even really describe it. Someone just has to go like experience it themselves, really. So that's why it's fun.
The main female in the Wallflower is one of the vampires from Vampire Heaven.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Oh, Vampire Heaven. Oh, Vampire
J-dramas
Heaven.
can be like super weird, and they can be, but like honestly, every single country does this. Like,
yes,
yeah. I will say something to appreciate about some of these dramas that we talked about is like sometimes it's honestly like, you know how we started talking about Love and Leashes a little bit, and we started getting some of these are exploration of kink on some level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they make it either kind of goofy or just, and that's kind of fun when you know. On the sanitized side of some of these countries or dramas, or even in the West, it's kind of fun to be like, and sometimes just even a show that's like, wow, like for instance, This Man is the Biggest Mistake in My Life. It is not a good portrayal of like how a relationship like that should be, but it's kind of fun to watch it and be like, yeah, this sucks. Like that's fine. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like watching movies here in the West that are like, wow, that's a really bad portrayal of BDSM. Like,
kind of like watching the car wreck. You just, you know, like you can't look away.
It's essentially 50 Shades of Grey. Like, how you decide to interact with that sometimes. Is it good? No.
Yeah, that doesn't
it is
matter.
Entertaining for the most part. Yeah, but also it's not the only thing that like Japan is producing, and I think a lot of people like kind of really pick up these, you know, crazier shows and be like, see, this is J-dramas are just crazy and weird and like not worth my time, and it really isn't. And it kind of, it's sad sometimes because I think a lot of the really great, wonderful gems of J dramas kind of get pushed aside because of that, because there's like preconceived notion that they're just going to be weird and awkward.
And that's essentially why we decided we could have just done the axis chart, right? Like we could have just had this live stream just be that, but we didn't want to portray we wanted to start off with, hey, if you're starting to get into J dramas, or if you haven't seen some of these that we really love, know that we're very aware, like, here are some really good ones that we really recommend. Before we talk about all
and then we can do the unhinged.
Yeah. And we've already talked about this. We kind of want to make this a series. Like, I would love to, because I love J drama. So if we're going to talk about J dramas, we can talk about them more. So if there's any like J drama like specific things that you want to like us to discuss about, like maybe if you want to know more options for J dramas to watch, or like specific J dramas on specific platforms or something like that. Yes, J dramas are fantastic in slice of life. Like, they really,
they hit that really well.
Yeah, they do. So that was. Thank you for coming to our live stream.
And we'll try to be sure to put up like the lists and stuff that we talked about.
We'll make it happen for you.
We should make a screenshot of our.
I'm already adding names so that you can. It's not just images; it's also names.
Perfect. Well,
it was a really fun live stream, guys. Like, we really appreciated you guys talking with us the whole time.
Yeah. So thank you for coming. We hope you had a really good time. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Sky and I will be doing a live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Crash Course in Romance.
Because some people will want to talk about it, I'm sure.
Some people have thoughts. So we will be back doing that. And of course, there'll be a new episode on Monday morning. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.